Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Monday, and all of our guests today, including J.P. Barry, standing by, sponsored by Basant Motors. Get to Basant Motors where the spring rides are ready to roll. Right now, pay no GST or get free gas for a year. Put winter in the rearview mirror. Learn more at Basant Motors, BASANTmotors.com. We're going to be joined in a matter of moments by NHL Agent J.P. Barry. He and his CAA group represent Canucks Elias Pettersson, Tyler Myers, Quinn Hughes, Jet Wu. Both Pettersson and Myers, of course, have contracts set to expire at the end of next season. J.P. Barry joining us now. Thanks for doing this, sir. Again, how are you?
I'm very good. Just getting excited about some playoff hockey tonight.
When you're watching playoff games, do you pull for the teams that have more of your clients than the other team?
No, I enjoy the playoffs because it's time to just sit back and kind of take the agent hat off and just watch where the game's going and who's performing. And so I say no. I'm not. I'm pretty neutral. I just like to see some really good hockey. That's the key.
Okay, throw that agent hat back on. When do you expect to start talking with the Canucks about Elias Pettersson?
You know, like the last several guys we've been involved with, I mean, generally they do start in the summer sometime. Like they get past July 1 and you start, get past the initial rush of July 1 because there's no rush to this negotiation. And then you get in and talk, and I mean, they take their own life. You talk about the future and, sometimes they take a whole year like Forsberg did. Sometimes they take 8 months like Pasternak did. And sometimes they take 3 or 4 months like Barzal did. Those are all 3 of the last recent ones. So, I think it's going to just open a dialogue, and everyone can talk about all the issues because I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about a longer term commitment this time.
So on Saturday, JP, Canucks players were made available to the media, and Elias Pettersson, when it came to the subject of contract extension, said he likes it here. And, of course, Canucks Twitter is like, that set off a firestorm because he didn't say he loves it here. JP, where is Elias at when it comes to today, when it comes to his desire to stay in Vancouver?
No, I think he wants to stay in Vancouver. I think he just wants make sure that there's a really lengthy discussion about all the right things. It's really hard for a player to, obviously it's the biggest contract of their life. So I know everyone wants to hear them 100% commit, but I mean, part of their own leverage in negotiating those options in free agency. So, if you want to throw that out the door, then so I think he's just being he's being a well-schooled client and saying, look, I mean, I have to talk about everything about my future, and that really is the way it is when it comes to a free agent deal.
JP, in 2004, you went to England with the Sedin twins to meet with Dave Nonis and Mark Crawford and to get a feel about how the Sedins fit in Vancouver. Are you going to have to do the same thing here, meet with the Canucks and get a vision and a plan? Because the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, JP, have not been great in Vancouver, and they've done a lot of losing.
Yeah, I think that I expect there will be some face-to-face. I do. Whether we, Pat and I go out there or, we do it somewhere neutral, we need to talk. It's going to be a significant deal, especially if I think, pretty sure this time Vancouver would like to take them out as many years as they could. So, yeah, I expect those kind of meetings to happen.
What about the 100 points, JP? What a great year he's had. Just talk about the season he's had. Everything's gone right for him.
He really did prepare last year. I remember just noticing when I first saw him at the beginning of the year, there was something different in his focus and his eyes and his I think he just had a big step of maturity between last year and this year, and what his goals are and how he's taking care of himself. So yeah, it's been a big step, I think, just on what he wants for the future and how he wants to succeed. So it was great. Yeah, it was great to see this year.
JP, Elias has said he wants to play for Sweden at the Worlds, but there's insurance issues. Are you guys working that out right now?
Yeah, we're trying to work it out with the Swedish Federation, like how far they can go on certain things insurance-wise, because you have to with a player who, is going into their final year and has years on the table. So, usually we do figure those out. They find a way with the insurance people, but I think it's all going to be based on him wanting to play. And last I heard, he does want to play.
Yeah.
JP, you also represent Tyler Myers. One more year left on his contract. Do you expect, and of course it's Vancouver, so rumors flying around, do you expect him to play for the Canucks next season?
I do. I think, I think you guys are aware of his contract structure, so that probably also lends him to playing the way it's structured. But he really loves Vancouver. I mean, he made some strides with I talked to him recently about liking, how he played with Tocchet and Sergei Gonchar in particular, and making some changes in his game and simplifying some things. And I think he's really listening. So I think he's hoping, obviously, have as good a year as he has this next year, so he can show people that he can play going forward. And it'll be at it's not going to be the same contract as he has now, but he wants to continue playing, and he likes it in Vancouver. So we'll see if, how he gets off to a good start next year.
Quinn Hughes, I know there are no negotiations in the near future. Four more years left on his contract. This is the obvious question, but did he get to another level this season that maybe people weren't expecting?
Yeah, and I think it's not just all the dynamic play. I just see some determination and leadership qualities coming out of him, like resilience and learning how to be a better defender, like all those things. Like, that's what you like to see, is like he's going to show people that there's just lots more aspects to his game, and I think he made some steps towards that.
JP, you got a kid in Abbotsford, Jetwoo, 22 years old, right shot D. He's an RFA. What about his future in Vancouver, JP?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's had a couple tough years developing, but he had a really good year this year. I heard, lots of people tell me, and I saw some games, I think the last, probably from Christmas on, he was one of their better defensemen. So we're excited. That position takes time, especially when you learn to be he's kind of an all-rounder guy, and it takes time to learn everything, and I think it's coming together. So I hope they keep him, because I think he's knocking on the door if they do.
Okay, elsewhere, JP, Matthew Barzal is another one of your clients. Of course, he's from around these parts, Islanders in the playoffs. First of all, what can you tell us about Matthew's health?
Yeah, I think he took every step he could to get better. It was, he had, a soft tissue injury, we call it, in the lower body area, and he took as much time to make sure it was playoff ready. So. Last I heard, they were getting ready. I think we've seen the lineup tonight, so we'll see when the rosters come out. But it sounds like he's ready to go here, either game 1 or 2.
Okay, relatively new deal for him. 8 years, 9.15 cap hit. Is that a comparable for Elias Pettersson?
It'll be one of them. There's a lot of them, though. Like, there's there'll be more. And the thing is about being patient. Like, there's more that'll get done here between now and July. So, there's going to be a few contracts, whether it's Barzal, there's Kachuk, there's a few others too, right? So there's, if it depends if you want to go by age or performance, but there's quite a few coming down the pike. So it's one of them.
One more, JP. Every time we get an agent on, we want to ask this question these days. What do you expect to happen with the salary cap in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, the hope, right now we're running out of clock, and it's not going up very far this year. I hope you have a really good playoffs, but we're expecting it only to go up 1.5, maybe 2 with a good playoffs. But because the debt is being paid off, it's going to have a pretty massive jump the year after. So a lot of us are wondering, like, could we not negotiate a little bit more of a bump this year and then a little bit less of a bump the year after, because it's going to be kind of very weird change in the cap in 1 year. Like, it could be a big add in that second year. So hopefully that kind of discussion could take place, but I don't think either side wants to give anything up for that. I think it's something that's just, to me, seems logical for both sides to just try and do for symmetry.
Yeah. JP, we'll get you on next week. You are becoming a regular, and we thank you so much for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, JP.